This world will distract you, drain you, and deceive you into thinking you've got to chase every opinion, please every person, and compete with everybody around you. But I came here to tell you, focus on you. You can't build a mansion while watching someone else decorate theirs. Your destiny is your responsibility. Stop scrolling. Stop comparing. Stop living your life on someone else's schedule. The dream doesn't work unless you do. You've got to be so obsessed with your vision that distractions look like disrespect. People say, you've changed. Good. That's what growth looks like. That's what healing looks like. That's what focus does. It transforms you into the version of yourself that nobody saw coming, not even you. The better you become, the better you serve. The stronger you get, the stronger your impact. The more healed you are, the more healing you offer. You owe the world the best version of you. But that only comes when you stop explaining yourself to people who aren't building anything. Stop giving energy to arguments that don't move you forward. Stop showing up for things that steal your time, your passion, your fire. You have to understand something foundational. Your growth is your responsibility. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is going to hand you the blueprint for your dream, and nobody else can live your life for you. The sooner you realize this, the faster you begin to take back your power. Too many people wait for permission to become great. They wait for someone to believe in them, to support them, to validate their vision. But life doesn't reward the one who waits, it rewards the one who acts. When you shift your mindset from blaming to building, from waiting to working, everything in your life begins to change. It's not about arrogance, it's about awareness. Knowing that no matter what's happened in your past, the keys to your future are in your hands. There comes a point in life where you have to stop pointing fingers and start making moves. Maybe you weren't given the best start. Maybe you didn't have the support system, the mentorship, the resources others had. But guess what? That doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you to rise from it. Your responsibility is to take the cards you were dealt and play them to win, because nobody's journey is perfect. Everyone's carrying something. Pain, regret, fear, but champions don't use that as an excuse. They use it as fuel. When you focus on yourself, you stop wasting time looking at who hurt you, who left, who didn't believe. You begin to ask better questions. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? What's my next step? There's a difference between growth and survival. Survival means you're getting by. Growth means you're moving forward. Most people are just surviving, going through the motions, hoping life gets better without changing anything about themselves. But growth demands change. It requires intentional effort, painful pruning, and relentless commitment. You can't grow while staying comfortable. You can't grow while blaming the world for your setbacks. Growth happens when you get honest about your flaws, your patterns, and your mindset, and then take steps to upgrade each one. When you focus on yourself, you realize you are not a victim of your circumstances. You're the architect of your reality. Every decision you make is either building you up or breaking you down. And if you don't take charge of your life, life will take charge of you. People who don't focus on themselves end up resentful, reactive, and drained, because they're too busy trying to fix others, chase approval, or fit into someone else's mold. You weren't created to be a copy. You were born to be authentic, to walk your path, and to pursue the unique calling on your life. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean isolating or being selfish. It means prioritizing what actually matters, your healing, your purpose, your values, your discipline. It means saying no to things that waste your time, your energy, and your focus. It means protecting your peace, setting boundaries, and holding yourself accountable even when nobody else is watching. Because the real measure of maturity is not what you do when others are watching. It's what you do when you're alone, tired, discouraged, and no one is clapping for you. That's where self-focus turns into self-mastery. You don't need to explain your growth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Let them talk, let them judge, let them say you've changed. That's the point. Change is the evidence that you're evolving, that you're no longer living on autopilot, that you're no longer stuck in survival mode. When you focus on yourself, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop making excuses and start making moves. You stop seeking sympathy and start seeking strategy. Because here's the truth, every version of you that you've been through, the broken you, the lost you, the insecure you, was preparing you for the focused you. The one who understands that nobody can do the push-ups for you, nobody can build your dream for you, and nobody is responsible for your growth except you. Own it, embrace it, and most importantly, act on it. The life you want isn't waiting on luck, it's waiting on your focus. Distractions are not just little time wasters. They are silent killers of dreams, destiny, and discipline. In this world where everything fights for your attention, notifications, social media, people's opinions, trends, gossip, entertainment, your ability to focus is your superpower, because every second you spend chasing what's irrelevant is a second stolen from your purpose. People underestimate how dangerous distractions are because they don't destroy all at once, they kill slowly. One wasted day becomes a wasted week. One bad habit becomes a lifestyle. One wrong focus becomes a completely different path. If you're not careful, you'll look up one day and wonder how you ended up so far away from the life you were supposed to live. The truth is, distractions don't always look like enemies. Sometimes they look like opportunities. They feel good, they look important, but they're pulling you off course. That's why focus is spiritual. It's more than just discipline, it's discernment. You have to know what's sent to grow you and what's sent to derail you. And the only way to do that is to stay locked in on your goals and your vision. If you don't know what you're building, you'll waste your energy reacting to every voice, every trend, every invitation that comes your way. You have to train your mind to say, this isn't for me, even when it's popular, even when it's tempting, even when everybody else is doing it. There's a reason successful people guard their time like it's gold, because it is. Time is the only thing you never get back. And when you focus on distractions, things that don't pay you, don't grow you, and don't align with your mission, you're literally investing your time into failure. Every distraction has a cost, and the price is always paid in your potential. It's a silent transaction. Every time you choose scrolling over studying, talking over training, gossiping over grinding, you're making a withdrawal from your future. The reason most people never reach their goals is not because they don't have talent. It's because they're too easily pulled in every direction. And every time you chase something that's not for you, you delay what is. Focus creates momentum. Momentum builds discipline, and discipline builds legacy. But it all starts with what you say yes to, and more importantly, what you say no to. You've got to start thinking in terms of energy. Your energy is not infinite. You only get so much mental bandwidth, emotional capacity, and spiritual strength each day. And if you keep giving it to things that don't matter, you'll have nothing left for what does. You'll be too tired to build your dream because you spent all your time babysitting distractions. Too drained to invest in your gift because you spent your energy reacting to noise. And let's be honest, sometimes we choose distractions because they're easier. Focusing on yourself, building your vision, staying consistent. That's hard work. It takes patience, it takes courage. Distractions are easy. They're comfortable, they let you feel busy without being productive. But don't confuse movement with progress. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're getting somewhere. You can run fast on a treadmill and still be in the same place. And that's what distractions do. They exhaust you without advancing you. You have to get brutally honest with yourself. What's stealing your focus? Who's pulling you off track? What's keeping you entertained but not evolving? The moment you identify those things, you have a choice: cut them or be controlled by them. Because if you don't choose your focus, the world will choose it for you. And the world doesn't care about your calling. The world will use you up and leave you empty. But when you choose focus, when you take control of your attention, your time, your habits, you begin to align with the life you were created to live. Real success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things over and over again. It's about locking in, staying committed, and not letting anyone or anything pull you away from your lane. Because the road to greatness is narrow, and not everyone can come with you. Not every opportunity is worth your time. Not every comment deserves your response. Protect your focus like it's life or death, because for your future, your purpose, your peace, and your legacy, it is. You can't pour from an empty cup. No matter how kind your heart is, no matter how big your dreams are, no matter how much you want to help others, you cannot give what you don't have. Too many people are running on fumes, trying to be everything to everyone, while slowly draining themselves in the process. You try to show up for family, be available for friends, stay loyal to your job, answer every message, say yes to every favor, and at the end of the day, you're left exhausted, burned out, and emotionally bankrupt. That's not noble, that's dangerous. Because when you keep giving and giving without ever stopping to refill yourself, you begin to break down silently. Self-focus is not selfish. It's essential. You're not helping anyone by constantly putting yourself last. When you neglect your own health, your peace, your goals, your rest, everyone around you eventually suffers too. Your energy drops, your mood crashes, your body wears down, and your vision fades. You can't lead with clarity when your mind is clouded. You can't love deeply when you're emotionally numb. You You can't build something meaningful when you're too tired to think straight. Your cup has to be full first, not out of ego, but out of wisdom. You have to get serious about taking care of you. That means learning how to rest without guilt. It means setting boundaries, even when people don't like them. It means saying no to things that drain you, even if they're good things. Because every yes is a trade. Every time you agree to something, you're sacrificing time, energy, or attention that could have gone towards something more aligned with your growth. And if you're not careful, your schedule will be filled with everybody else's priorities except your own. That's how dreams die. Not from lack of talent, but from lack of energy to pursue them. Focusing on yourself means making your well-being a priority. It means being honest about your emotional state. Are you really okay, or just pretending to be? Are you truly fulfilled, or just keeping busy to avoid dealing with your emptiness? When you're constantly pouring out to others and never taking time to check in with yourself, you lose connection with the most important person in your life. And when that connection breaks, everything else starts falling apart. Your focus scatters, your confidence fades, your identity weakens. But when you begin to fill your cup, when you nourish your spirit, rest your body, feed your mind, and protect your peace, everything changes. You show up better. You think clearer, you create stronger, you love deeper, you move with intention instead of obligation. You're not reactive, you're proactive. You're not desperate for approval, you're rooted in purpose. You're not drained from trying to be everywhere for everyone, you're energized from being aligned with your values. People will always ask more of you. Life will always be busy. There will always be something else to do, someone else to help, somewhere else to go. But if you don't make yourself a priority, no one else will. The world doesn't slow down to give you space to heal or catch your breath. That's why you must choose to pause. Choose to unplug. Choose to say, I need this time to refill. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. That's not quitting, it's maintenance. That's how you stay strong for the long haul. You were never meant to live burnt out. You were never meant to live empty. There's greatness in you, but it needs fuel. There's purpose in you, but it needs attention. There's love in you, but it needs rest. Stop thinking you have to be superhuman to be valuable. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to take a break. You're allowed to focus on yourself. Because when your cup is full, the overflow blesses everyone around you. Your peace becomes contagious. Your joy becomes magnetic. Your strength becomes a refuge for others. So if you truly want to give your best to the world, if you want to serve your purpose, impact lives, love deeply, and live fully, start with you. Make time for your soul. Make space for your healing. Make room for your growth. Because the best version of you is not the one that's constantly exhausted, it's the one that's whole, rested, and fully present. And that only happens when you stop running on empty and start pouring into yourself first. Your peace is priceless. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. In a world that's constantly noisy, chaotic, demanding, and full of pressure to perform, your peace becomes the most valuable currency you have. When you focus on yourself, when you start investing in your inner world instead of constantly reacting to the outer world, you begin to protect that peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Without peace, your thoughts are scattered, your heart is anxious, your energy is drained, and your purpose gets lost in the noise. Peace is the foundation that everything else is built on. Without it, even your blessings will feel like burdens. Most people don't even realize how loud their life is. They've normalized stress. They've made anxiety a lifestyle. They wake up overwhelmed. They go to bed restless, and they think that's just how life is. But that's not living, that's surviving. That's existing in chaos. And the problem is, when you live like that long enough, you begin to believe that dysfunction is normal. You start thinking that if you're not stressed, you're not working hard enough. If you're not constantly busy, you're falling behind. But true success, real fulfillment, comes with peace, not panic. Peace isn't about having a perfect life. It's about having clarity in the middle of imperfection. It's about being grounded even when things around you are unstable. And that level of peace only comes when you prioritize yourself. Your values, your time, your energy, your healing. It's not found in people's approval. It's not found in more money, more attention, or more likes. Those things are temporary. External validation is fleeting. But inner peace, that's eternal. That's what allows you to sleep at night. That's what allows you to walk through storms without falling apart. And here's what you need to understand. Peace doesn't just happen. It must be protected. You have to fight for it. That means setting boundaries that make people uncomfortable. That means saying no when everyone expects you to say yes. That means walking away from arguments that serve no purpose, from people who always bring drama, and from situations that rob your joy. Every time you compromise your peace just to keep the peace with others, you lose a piece of yourself. And over time, that cost adds up. You wake up one day not recognizing the person in the mirror because you gave too much of yourself away trying to keep everyone else happy. Focusing on yourself is how you reclaim that peace. It's how you start living intentionally instead of reactively. When you know who you are and what matters to you, you stop entertaining distractions. You stop giving energy to things that don't serve your mission. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop allowing your environment to dictate your emotions. You take control. And that control brings peace, not because everything is perfect, but because you're aligned. Peace isn't passive. It's powerful. It's what helps you hear God's voice clearly. It's what keeps your spirit calm when everything around you is chaotic. It's what helps you make wise decisions instead of emotional ones. People who carry peace are dangerous to the enemy because they're not easily shaken. They're not reactive. They don't lose their mind when things don't go their way. They operate from a place of stillness, focus, and purpose. That kind of peace only comes from within, and that kind of peace only lasts when you protect it daily. So start choosing peace over pressure. Choose solitude over noise. Choose stillness over chaos. Choose focus over approval. You don't need to explain why you're unavailable. You don't need to justify why you're protecting your time. You don't need to apologize for choosing peace. The more you honor your peace, the more you attract what aligns with it. Better relationships, deeper purpose, clearer direction, and true joy. And remember this, peace isn't something you find. It's something you build through daily choices, through healing, through focus, through self-respect, through letting go of what no longer fits who you're becoming. The life you want starts with peace, and that peace starts with you. Let me know if you'd like this rewritten in a more Eric Thomas or spiritual style or turned into content for Instagram, YouTube, or a podcast. Sometimes the most powerful transformation happens in silence. The most critical growth doesn't take place in public. It happens in private, when no one's watching, when you're off the grid, when you're alone. Isolation leads to transformation, but most people run from solitude because they've never learned how to sit with themselves. They think if no one's calling, if no one's checking in, if no one's around to validate them, then they must be doing something wrong. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Often the greatest elevation in your life begins when God removes the noise, separates you from the crowd, and invites you into the quiet. That space where it's just you, your thoughts, and your reality is uncomfortable at first. Because when you're alone, there are no distractions, no filters, no pretending, just truth. And in that truth, you begin to confront things you've avoided for years. Old wounds, unrealized dreams, deep insecurities. Habits that no longer serve you, that's where the transformation starts. Not in applause, not in public approval, but in isolation, where you get brutally honest about who you are and who you want to become. This is the season where you stop running from your reflection and start building a new version of yourself. When you're alone, you begin to hear clearly. You hear your own voice, your own spirit, your own ideas, without interference. That clarity is a gift. It's the foundation of your evolution. But you can't receive that kind of clarity in the middle of chaos. You have to step back. You have to pull away from environments that cloud your mind and people who confuse your direction. You have to become okay with being unseen for a little while so that you can become unstoppable later. Everyone wants the spotlight, but very few are willing to do the shadow work. Very few are willing to disappear for a season, to focus, to heal, to grind in silence, to level up when nobody's clapping. But that's where real power is forged. Diamonds don't shine when they're being formed. Trees don't grow where we can see their roots. The most important part of the process is invisible. And if you keep needing external validation to feel valuable, you'll never discover the depth of what's inside you. Sometimes God has to isolate you to prepare you. He has to cut off access to distractions. He has to separate you from certain relationships. He has to remove you from certain rooms, not to punish you, but to protect you. Because where he's taking you, the old version of you cannot go. The same mindset, the same habits, the same need for approval. It has to die in the dark before you can rise in the light. And it's in that hidden place that you develop the discipline, the confidence, the strategy, and the spiritual foundation that success demands. Isolation teaches you to depend on something deeper than popularity. It strengthens your identity. It forces you to find purpose in the process, not just the outcome. It teaches you how to generate energy from within. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you. You believe in yourself. You stop depending on motivation. You start running on conviction. You stop asking for permission. You give yourself the authority to grow, to rise, to lead, to win. And the beauty of isolation is this: when you finally reemerge, you're not the same. You don't walk the same. You don't settle like you used to. You don't tolerate what you once accepted. You've changed, not because someone else changed you, but because you did the hard work when no one was watching. That quiet season built a giant in you. That solitude created strength in you. And now everything that once distracted you has lost its power. Don't fear isolation. Embrace it. Use it. Let it shape you. Let it sharpen you. This is your preparation ground. This is where you separate from average. This is where you decide who you want to become and begin becoming it without applause, without likes, without outside noise. Focus on yourself in this season, not because you're selfish, but because you're serious. The transformation you're craving starts the moment you stop fearing being alone and start embracing the power of silence. Your future depends on it. Everything you dream of becoming, everything you prayed for, everything you know deep down you were created to do, it all hinges on one crucial decision: whether or not you will fully focus on yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a sacred way, because becoming who you're meant to be doesn't happen by accident. It takes discipline, it takes focus, it takes the decision to no longer be casual with your life. You can't expect to walk into a future filled with purpose, success, and peace if you keep dragging yesterday's habits, yesterday's mindsets, and yesterday's distractions with you. The person you're trying to become can't afford your old ways. You can't move forward while staying stuck in the same cycles. If you don't change your focus, nothing else will change. Not your finances, not your relationships, not your calling. You can pray all day, hope all night, and wish all year. But until you start making decisions that align with your future, you will keep repeating your past. Focus is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. And without it, you'll keep drifting, busy, exhausted, distracted, but never fulfilled. When you choose to focus on yourself, you stop playing small. You stop living reactive. You stop letting life happen to you. And you start making life happen through you. You begin to take your power back. You start waking up with intention, not confusion. You start walking with clarity, not chaos. You stop wasting time trying to be everything for everybody and start becoming everything you were born to be. Because the truth is, you're not running out of time. You're running out of focus. And that lack of focus is delaying what's already yours. Focusing on yourself means building the habits that shape your tomorrow. It means waking up earlier, eating better, working smarter, praying deeper, and protecting your mind from negativity. It means reading books instead of watching endless entertainment. It means speaking life instead of complaining about what's not working. It means doing the hard things, especially when you don't feel like it, because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're investing in your future. Every time you say no to distractions and yes to purpose, you're building momentum. You're becoming stronger, sharper, and more aligned with who you were born to be. And it's not just about career or success, it's about legacy. Who are you becoming for your future family, for the people watching you, for the younger version of you that once dreamed fearlessly? Your focus today determines who shows up tomorrow. If you stay inconsistent, they'll never get to meet the best version of you. If you stay distracted, they'll only know the version that never tapped into their full potential. But if you lock in, if you go all in, if you choose to focus relentlessly on your growth, your purpose, and your healing, that version of you will be unstoppable. That version will shift rooms. That version will create impact. That version will walk in favor, not frustration. You can't keep blaming your environment, your past, your circumstances. The truth is, you have a decision to make. You either level up or stay stuck. You either focus or fall. You either move forward or keep circling the same mountain. There's no more time to play small. There's no more room for delay. You've wasted enough energy worrying about what others think, overthinking your next step, waiting for perfect conditions. Focus requires action now, not later. And yes, the road won't always be easy. You'll be misunderstood. You'll have to let go of people who no longer align with your purpose. You'll have to walk alone sometimes, but that's the price of greatness. That's the cost of future elevation, and it's worth it. Because what's waiting on the other side of your focus is everything you've been praying for. The open doors, the healed heart, the financial breakthrough, the clarity, the peace, the purpose. But it only comes to the version of you that is willing to be locked in, laser-focused, and unapologetically committed to growth. So today, decide, focus on yourself. Not because you're ignoring the world, but because you're preparing to serve it with your best. Not because you're giving up on people, but because you're rising into the person they truly need. The future is calling. The door is open, but only the focused version of you can walk through it. Let me know if you'd like this converted into a video monologue, spiritual version with scripture, or broken into a post series. Focus is a form of self-respect. It's one of the clearest ways to say to yourself, I believe in my future, I believe in my purpose, I'm no longer okay with staying where I am. Every time you choose focus over distraction, discipline over comfort, growth over stagnation, you're honoring your life in a way that very few people are willing to, in a world where it's easier to scroll than to study, easier to talk than to act, easier to blend in than to stand out. Focus is rare, but rare doesn't mean impossible. It just means that only the ones who truly value themselves will pay the price for it. When you focus, you're no longer available for things that drain you. You stop entertaining conversations that go nowhere. You stop showing up to places that don't align with your values. You stop explaining your journey to people who haven't done the inner work to understand it. Focus helps you protect your energy like your life depends on it, because your quality of life absolutely does. When you don't respect your time, your boundaries, your calling, then why would the world respect them for you? The way you show up for yourself teaches others how to treat you. Most people don't struggle with talent, they struggle with focus. It's not about whether or not you're gifted, it's about whether or not you're consistent. And consistency doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of being intentional with your focus. It's waking up and deciding, I'm not going to be pulled in 1,000 directions today. I have a mission. I have a vision. And everything I do today is either building that vision or breaking it down. That mindset is powerful. That mindset creates momentum. And once you tap into that level of focus, your entire life starts to shift. Focusing on yourself isn't about cutting the world off. It's about aligning with what truly matters. It's about simplifying your life so that you have space to grow, space to think, space to become. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to say yes to everyone. You don't have to be available 24/7. Every time you overextend yourself, you deplete your creative power. You lose sight of your own voice. But when you refocus, when you draw back into your purpose, when you start taking yourself seriously, you start attracting peace. You start moving with purpose. You stop looking for external direction and begin trusting your internal compass. Focus is also how you protect your healing. You can't grow if you keep picking at your wounds. You can't transform if you keep revisiting the places that broke you. When you focus on yourself, you stop letting the past sabotage your progress. You stop letting other people's opinions dictate your identity. You stop letting temporary emotions make permanent decisions. You become more patient, more present, more powerful, and power doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it looks like walking away, not out of anger, but out of clarity. This kind of focus won't always be easy. People won't understand it. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're distant. They'll try to guilt trip you back into being less. Don't fall for it. Your future is not worth sacrificing for temporary validation. The people who are meant to be in your life will respect your focus. The ones who truly love you will celebrate your growth, not resist it. And anyone who's uncomfortable with your discipline probably benefited from your lack of it. The more focused you are, the more free you become. Free from drama, free from overthinking, free from people-pleasing, free from the pressure to be perfect. You realize that progress is messy, but it's still worth showing up for. That small steps every day are more powerful than one big, unsustainable leap. That consistency, fueled by focus, will take you further than talent ever will. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you honored your focus every day? If you treated your dreams like appointments you couldn't miss? If you made space for your future instead of constantly reacting to the past? Everything you're praying for, everything you desire is already waiting on the focused version of you to show up. Not the distracted one, not the procrastinating one, not the one still asking for permission. The world doesn't need a louder version of you, it needs a clearer one. So today, choose focus not just for your goals, but for your peace, your healing, your legacy. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your future. And most of all, you owe it to the greatness within you that's been waiting to be unleashed.